So it has only been, what, 24 hours or so, ladies and gentlemen, since the internet has really been discussing the latest Rachel Zegler controversy, and boy, it is getting interesting, and I know what you're thinking right now. Wait, another Rachel Zegler controversy? Yeah, the list just keeps on getting longer and longer and longer and longer. I don't know when it's gonna end. Do you guys think it will ever end? Let me know in the comment section below, but this one this time isn't centered around trashing the original story like we've seen in the past. Oh no. This time, she decided to trash Trump and his supporters. She essentially went on this very cringy, unhinged rant on her Instagram stories, crying, whining about how this world now is going to be such a terrible place because Trump is going to be the next president. It's going to be full of hatred. She doesn't want to live in this world. She hopes Trump supporters never know peace. F this, F that. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it definitely sounds like a very kind, loving, caring person and somebody you want playing Snow White. Oh wait. So yeah, things are going from bad to worse, not only for the woke Snow White film, but also Disney as a whole. Their reputation is getting worse and worse. This is the general feeling around this whole thing, as the New York Post have reported. Disney faces backlash over Snow White star Rachel Zegler's Trump comments. She is unhinged and a liability. I don't think we needed these comments to come to that conclusion, but anyway, just 24 hours after the internet discussing this whole thing, it's blowing up absolutely everywhere. It seems like now somebody over at Disney or somebody in her management who probably got a call from Disney has told her to apologize. I'll tell you now, this backlash is the biggest backlash she has been in for quite some time. What she went ahead and said about millions of people who voted for Trump is an absolute disgrace, and it is no wonder people are outraged. Now, for this apology, we have to go to her Instagram stories once again, because that is where she has posted it, and you guys are going to think this is a very, I don't know, heartfelt apology, and she totally means it. But she goes on to post on her Instagram story, "Hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me." A classic trait of woke leftist liberals, they think with their emotions, not with their brain and facts. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am so sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. Of course you are. This week has been emotional for so many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from mine. I am committed to contributing positively towards a better tomorrow. So yeah, a PR written apology. We know she really doesn't mean it. She only went ahead and apologized because, again, I suspect somebody encouraged her to. If they didn't, we wouldn't have got that apology. She went ahead and insulted millions of voters just because of who they voted for, and she didn't like that. All because what? She's got her talking points from the liberal mainstream media and her liberal circle. Hollywood as well. This is what happens when you don't actually research things and just take in what all these liberals say. She's probably sat there still thinking, oh, it's going to be such a terrible world to live in. Am I going to wake up tomorrow? I guarantee you, you're going to be perfectly fine. But Rachel Zegler isn't only getting backlash right now from the average social media user, let's say, she is also getting a lot of heat from big political commentators such as Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. Boy, they have got off. The New York Post again report, Megyn Kelly calls Rachel Zegler a pig. After Snow White star's nasty tirade about Trump voters. If the shoe fits, Megyn Kelly branded Rachel Zegler a pig after the star of Disney's Snow White reboot nastily said she wished supporters of President-elect Donald Trump would never know peace. The conservative firebrand gave Zegler 23 and Disney a piece of her mind during a Sirius XM show Thursday, calling out the media giant for hypocrisy and the young starlet for her poorly articulated political takes. Take a watch.
Man. Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense. Picture a Broadway actress who issued a post saying, F Biden supporters. May Biden or Kamala never have a moment's peace. That person would be fired so fast it would make your head spin. They wouldn't last one more minute in any Hollywood role. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go.
Hey, look, man, Zegler is getting absolutely cooked. And Megyn Kelly is right. If this was the other way around and somebody said this about Biden, Kamala, whatever, they would be fired on the spot. instantly. We all know this, so it just shows the clear political bias over at Disney. Now, time for Candace Owens. She absolutely goes ahead and roasts Rachel Zegler. All I'm going to say is take a watch again.
I just wanted to go on this little baby rant about Rachel Zegler. She's the young woman that was cast as Snow White. It has proven to be Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments. I mean, they've gone through various scandals with this girl. Not because she can't keep her mouth shut. I'm totally fine with with the celebrities telling me what their politics are, who they're voting for, etc., etc. We've become accustomed to that. But because she has this underlying anger and hatred in her that always has to take it like one step too far. So first and foremost, if you're going to be cast as Snow White, maybe appreciate the original Snow White and don't do a tour talking about how, essentially implying that it's wrong and backwards and it's not 1937, whatever. That was like her initial spree, and everyone was like, okay, do you want to be Snow White or do you hate Snow White? Do you want to destroy Snow White? They went way too woke. They ended up kind of changing the whole movie and said, never mind, we're going to shelve it and do it later. So essentially, election night happens, Trump wins, and Rachel decides to go on really just a psychopathic, demented rant, basically accusing all Trump supporters of being awful people, which is par for the course. I'm okay with that. But then she wished harm on Trump and all of his supporters for the next years to come. Right. So like she leveled up, and it didn't just stop at like, I disagree with you. She basically was like, my daughter won't be able to her offspring in the future because, you know, when you are just so remarkably privileged and in a bubble and nothing about this economy affects you and you're so out of touch, you've never probably even spoken to a farmer or a rancher, you don't know any people to speak up who have issues filling up their tank, you've just been living in Hollywood la la land for so long that you're just deranged. Like, this is the consequence of Rachel Zegler. You essentially arrive at, well, the thing that's really hard in my life is imagining my little daughter, who's probably 10, she's probably prepubescent, given the fact that Rachel herself is very young. What's her daughter, like a toddler, I'm assuming? Well, when she grows up, in case she wants to kill her offspring, I can't do that. Like, which is also, by the way, shows you how fundamentally stupid she is, because she doesn't even understand basic civics. She thinks that by saying the federal government can't decide an abortion, that means that abortion is banned. Like, this is her operating level of intelligence here, just so you know. Just her factory setting of intelligence is so low that she actually believes that her daughter can't get an abortion. So you live in California, you live in a commie state. I promise you, your daughter will always be able to kill her offspring, since that issue is so important to you. She offers up an apology tonight because people were understandably outraged because, well, it turns out that the majority of the country is conservative. The majority of the country actually does care about grocery store prices. It's impacting them. The majority of the country actually does care about gas prices. The majority of the country actually does touch their own door handles. You probably haven't done that in a while. You've been a little star for a while. And the entire map of the United States is actually conservative. And so I'm sure some Disney exec came down on her and she realized, oops, I did it again. I just was a psycho for no reason. And she posts this apology, which is up right now. You can go check it out on her feed. And the apology is basically like, I'm sorry, my emotions got the best of me. And I would just like to formally reject this apology on behalf of the American people because, A, there's no substance here, okay? She's only doing this because she wants your dollars, right? She wants the privilege of insulting you, hating you, but then wants you to also show up to her Disney remake of the Snow White that she hates. She thinks we're predictably stupid on top of being racist and backwards and dumb and not woke on understanding why children should be allowed to kill their offspring in the future. Whatever.
I tell you now, the one person you do not want coming after you in Iran is Candace Owens. You know she ain't gonna hold back, and boy, what a response. Now, there was one big thing Candace Owens mentioned in that video, and it was probably the big point, and that was Rachel Zegler being upset that her daughter won't be able to get rid of her baby if she doesn't want it. Now, as Candace says, in states like California, you'll be fine. Don't worry. But when I read what Rachel Zegler said yesterday and how it came across, you know, she goes on to say things like it's going to be hard to raise her daughter in this world. It's going to force her to have a baby she doesn't want. That to me just sounds so messed up. The lack of care for life there is crazy. You know, and Rachel Zegler isn't alone in this. A lot of these woke activists, all they care about is getting rid of babies just because, for example, like Rachel Zegler says, they don't want them. You're just throwing life to the side. Like it doesn't matter when that isn't the case. Now, I don't actually think she has a daughter, which is kind of interesting, but I just assume she's thinking about the future and fear-mongering like a lot of woke activists do. But to already have that mindset and want to project that onto your future daughters that you'll potentially have is insane. But then, this is Hollywood, and for people to have that attitude within that world doesn't surprise me. She has to be one of the biggest PR disasters for Disney of all time. But Disney need to take a lot of the blame here, because clearly these are the people they like and want to hire, and well, it's costing them big time. The release of Snow White is going to be so interesting. The interviews in the lead up to this are going to be hilarious, because you know she is just going to say something that is going to put Disney in a lot of hot water. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they just put this film straight onto Disney Plus to avoid any more controversy. It is going to flop. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on this whole thing. What are your thoughts on Rachel Zegler, what she said about supporters and her apology? I'd like to know. Also, leave your thoughts down below about Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly and what they had to say. Boy, again, they weren't holding back. If you have also enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.